And the duels have finally come to an end, but with actually a little twist at the end. So definitely, this is likely when we see like a lot more Gonganzeka fighting style, like his duel style. It seems like he uses a lot of like samurai defense monsters. Like that's always thing is his deck is made of like samurai monsters. It was pretty cool because he uses like monsters on a scale tipper that he's able to special summon, since like his opponent has special summon monsters, and then he was able to summon another one like that brought from the graveyard, and he was able to bring out his ace monster, which was Benkei. And I kind of like that Benkei was like, his ability was a lot like I forget what the card was called, but it was like, I think it had like 15/50 like attack, and it was like samurai edges. Like if he was in defense position, it could also attack. It was like in one of like the big old collector tins back in the day. Like if anyone knows what the card is, please let me know. But it's like that. It can attack while it's in like defense position, and it has 3,500 defense. So it has 3,500 attack as well. That is a pretty impressive card it has. I hope that's just like, oh, you only need 2 to summon it like that. Not like you have to summon, you release it with, you know, these monsters, these samurai monsters, these, like, because to be honest, they're not that much use sort of cards. Like, also as well, like, it seems like with our Yaiba guy, he seems sums out another Gotem, and like, Gonganzeka is like, one thing that really annoyed me in this episode is because of his dueling style. It was like, oh, I refuse to like grab action cards, and this isn't like main thing. It's like he explained his story, you know, it's a steadfast duel, and it's like he wanted to show that, and he's like the whole point of like the thing was like you're actually supposed to actually try to get the action cards. It sounds like he just wants to play normal Yu-Gi-Oh, which I think pretty much everyone here wants to play normal Yu-Gi-Oh. I think I want to play normal Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, I don't really feel interested into playing action dueling, but I mean, come on, guys, it's like even I still want to see it, and it's like, that was sort of one thing that annoyed me in the episode, all that. But definitely his interesting, like, he tried to survive, like, with, like, these fire armor cards that he had. But it's just like, Yaiba was just owning him. He just kept bringing back Gotems. He kept Full Hell Knight, and he kept just summoning the same monsters, and just pretty much annihilated his hand, which actually ended up saving him because he was able to use other monsters. Like, one of the ones that was actually really useful was like, he had 0 defense, one of the cards he used, and it actually able to use it to bring out 3,500 of defense damage, like the difference of like his defense to like his so it went from 3,500 to 0, and he was able to deal 3,500 points of damage, and he would have won if Yaiba couldn't keep grabbing all those fucking action cards. And luckily, Gonganzeka was able to negate it and then pull it out with Big Bang, which actually caused like 3,300 damage to everyone. So his suicidal part actually ended in a draw. And it's like, he can't use any of these abilities without having any magic trap. His whole deck is consisted of monsters. I'm like, what the fuck? A whole deck of monsters. That, not even the suicide movie he did. That's more suicide. Like, everyone uses magic trap cards. Like, I hope that isn't for the whole deck, like this, they only get their effects if there isn't any magical traps in the graveyard, because that's just crazy, like, because they say if action cards are used or magic cards, and they go to the graveyard and they're treated as magic and trap. And, you know, it was an alright duel. I actually thought this was the most enjoyable out of all of the ones we've seen. I think Gonganzeka had the best one, just made his deck was interesting. What the conclusion of the duel was a draw, and that was even more interesting. And now Yuya saying, like, because she doesn't want an ending, it's like they had to go for a tiebreaker, and it's like, Yuya must duel with Reiji, who is, you know, the Leo dual school's like son, and like the most interesting one. I think it's like, it said like the preview was like DDD Terror or something like that. I was wondering if that's like different dimension, maybe, like if you remember the different dimension cards. I'm wondering what the 3D stand for. Like, I'm curious, is he going to use a banishing deck? Like, because it seems like it's a lot more interesting, and it seems like it's going to be like a more intense action duel than the previous ones that we're going to have. So I'm looking forward to like what's going to happen. Overall, this was a really good episode. I thought this was like an interesting one to go. Gonzaga, he, you know, had a little bit of development with him, had to see his new deck, and it was just overall, it was a better one that, you know, Yuzu gave, and definitely as well, I think Yuya could have like up the game on his one as well against the XYZ deck. But I think like definitely the X-Sabers was the most threatening one out of all of them, and you know, he managed to prove people wrong. I mean, Sora was just there saying, oh, he ain't gonna win, he's a failure. But overall, I really enjoyed this. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But that's all from me. I was thanking you very much for watching. As always, remember, I'll see you guys next time.